Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anna Reinforce Big Love, your fellow positive reinforcer. Today, we are going to talk about showing up for yourself and how to achieve it. Now, showing up for yourself is more than a trendy self help term. You know, the things that we see in the social media, self help speeches, self help motivation, self help quotes. Self help is much serious because this is our ongoing practice of self commitment, self responsibility, as well as personal empowerment. It involves us, nothing else, nobody else. It's not about the other people, the one that we see in social media. It's about us, our relationship to ourselves. Now, showing up for yourself involves consistently taking actions that honor your needs, desires, and boundaries, even when life gets challenging. It's about prioritizing your well being, both physically and emotionally, and cultivating relationship with yourself that's rooted from self respect and love. Self love. Now, how are we going to show up for ourselves? Now, I am going to give you, a couple of ways, like 7 ways to show up for yourself. And I'm going to base the example on my own reality, on my own experience. But, this 7 ways is actually common. It happens every day, the way we deal with things, the way we look at the world, especially ourselves. Now, here's what it looks like in practice, showing up for yourself. The first thing that you can do is practice self awareness. Showing up for yourself starts with self awareness. This means tuning to your own emotions, thoughts, and physical state without judgment. Like, for example, when you feel like you're not comfortable about what this person said to you, and then you try to analyze what's going on, like you feel the tension in your muscles, like you're about to burst. So you try to analyze it, and you find out to yourself that you are angry because that person said something that is against your belief. So as what we've seen nowadays, that the election in America is quite near. There's two rivals, Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, and people are actually divided. And when the other party tells the name of that candidate, it pisses them off. So self awareness allows you to understand what you truly need, how you feel, and why you react in certain ways. So once you feel like you've been, like, somebody triggered you because what that person said to you, and you think that you don't believe in that other person's perspectives, and you don't want to accept that, and right, you try to analyze yourself that what is really happening other than being angry. Why is it that you really hate, you know, you really hate hearing about those stuff? Like, for example, when you just utter Donald Trump's name, and sometimes everybody's looking at you, and you don't know what's going on in their minds. Now, like, for example, imagine you're feeling drained. This is another story. You're feeling drained and unmotivated at work. Instead of pushing through and ignoring your feelings because, I have to pay the bills, I got to do this and that, although you're already drained, you're stressed out, and that you can't think straight anymore. Showing up for yourself in this situation means taking a moment to assess why you feel that way. It could be, you have other problems other than your work. You had a breakup yesterday, and that is why you cannot concentrate and work. You know, just compromise, add up to the damage, to your feelings and your thinking, because you just had a breakup yesterday, and then you're going to work, and then your manager has dumped you loads of projects to do while you're still trying to process what did happen yesterday. you just had a breakup, and instead of really just ignoring that feeling that I can do this, you're stressed out, you've lack of sleep, and then that 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 happening just turns out to be from 1 day, 2 days, 3 days to weeks that you hardly could sleep, and you're doing your projects, you're trying to divert your attention to your work, but it's not really working for you. Now, showing up to yourself in this situation means that you need to take time, like a day off, or if you feel sick, just bring in sick. Maybe you need a day off for rest, or you might want to consider talking to your supervisor about engaging, you know, giving you some engaging tasks to somehow get over the feeling of the what happened yesterday, the breakup experience that you had. Now, practicing self-awareness, it's really important to really to assess yourself all the time, not only sometimes, as much as possible, all the time. Because if you prioritize assessing yourself first and what the heck is really going on in me, rather than looking at the other party, the other person, and then you just end up blaming that person, it's quite worth it to really look into ourselves first, because we are in control of ourselves. And the rest of the things outside, even people, that's out of our control. We are the only one that we can change in every situation. Now, it's important to really, sometimes if we ever make mistakes, it's way better to really take it as it is, no matter how terrible is the feeling. Just own it. At least when you own it, you can come up with solutions and solve it along the way. Unlike if you blame others or you suppress your feelings, nothing will ever get solved. So it's important to really reflect on your emotions and patterns. And journaling can help you with this. When you can write down your problems on paper and find solutions and write them on paper. You can even make a contract to yourself through journaling. And it's also important to check in with yourself multiple times a day by asking, like, for example, how do I feel right now? What do I need right now? Maybe you need some space, from your colleague who is kind of toxic for you at that given time. You need to stay away for a while. You might want to consider that. And another way to help you out, which also helped me uh, enhance my self-awareness other than reflection and journaling, is that I I practice mindfulness. In my day off, my mindfulness is I live near the beach, so I just go outside and walk outside after my workout. Sometimes, although I got my partner here with me, I would also consider walking alone so I can think about myself if there's something going on in my head, if so that I can do something about it. I can solve it. The way I personally believe that if I ever have a problem, if I ever come up with a problem, I am the only one who can solve it. Well, it could be the solution, you know, I could come up with the solution with help from other people, but it all starts with me. Mindfulness could also help you. Mindfulness that you can get from meditation, or mindfulness from just merely walking in a beachside or in a forest, reconnecting with the nature, wherein you can able to take yourself, your thoughts into the now, not from the past, terrible past experience, or being anxious about the future. So that's how amazing mindfulness is. It helps you more attune or more in tune with your thoughts, your body, and at the present moment. Now, another thing, another way to show up for yourself is setting boundaries and saying no. So this is another way of protecting yourself from those people who could possibly harm your mental health, your well being. Showing up for yourself means learning to say no when necessary. It's about recognizing your limits and refusing to overextend yourself for the sake of pleasing others. Healthy boundaries help you protect your time, your energy, and emotional well being. Now, it's important in this situation to say no without a guilt. Sometimes it's if you're not sure, really, just say no. Nothing will ever get gone if you're not sure. But if you're completely sure, why not just say yes? But if it's 50-50, you might want to consider waiver your decision in the meantime. Or if you think that it's not really, it's not worth your time, just say no without a guilt. Remember, you don't need to justify every decisions. In other words, you are just merely prioritizing yourself and your needs. It's also important to define your personal limits, your physical, emotional, time related limits, and communicate them clearly to others with all due respect. You can even, reflecting on your past mistakes can also help you out setting boundaries and saying no, not anymore, because you finally learn from your mistakes. Reflecting on past situations where you've overcommitted and learned from them to do better enforces your creation of boundaries. Now, another way wherein you can show up to yourself is prioritizing self-care and well-being. Now, this is common, treating yourself, taking yourself to a spa, ordering your favorite food, giving yourself a treat at least 1 or 2 days in a week wherein you can eat pizza and ice cream all the way because you work out almost every day in a week. 1 to 2 hours. You deserve a pizza. So that's another way of showing self-care. Self-care is not about just bubble baths and spa days. It's the intentional acts of taking care of your mental, physical, and emotional health. This is not just about getting a massage. This is about taking care of yourself through relaxation, treating yourself because you think you deserve it and it makes you happy, and then you get your happiness. Showing up for yourself means making self-care a priority in your daily routine, even when life gets busy. I know this is a crisis times globally, but you still can afford to schedule a workout time for yourself. You can still able to go to the grocery and buy healthy food for yourself. That is self-care. And you can, getting hydrated all throughout your shift is also self-care. Engage in hobbies or activities that bring you joy and relaxation, not just productivity. That's also self-care. Looking after your thinking, your mind, body, spirit, everything about you that makes you feel conditioned for tomorrow's challenges, or treating yourself because you have a job well done today. So self-care is everything. It all starts in yourself. Now, I do my self-care by doing my best. I could be hectic at times, but I even try to work out at 8 o'clock in the evening. I know it sounds like silly because whenever I said something to myself, I want to do it. I want to appear, I want to show up to myself like I'm loyal to everything I say. That when I say I'm not giving up on myself in this area at all costs, I will do my best to really do it for me. Now, another way of showing another way of showing up to yourself is practicing self-compassion. Now, this is important because we're just human. Showing up for yourself means giving yourself grace when you make mistakes or fall short of your goals. So nobody's perfect. We're not even robot that you can stay productive consistently. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. But the thing is, even if you show up 75% today and tomorrow you're going to show up 80% and then yesterday you show up 100%, that is still perfect. Because the point of the matter is you show up. You show up consistently regardless of your situation. Now, instead of criticizing yourself harshly because you're not 100% in your job today, self compassion encourages you to treat yourself with kindness and understanding, just as you would treat a friend in a similar situation. Now, when negative talk arises, like sometimes you could bully yourself so bad that you turn out to have lack of confidence in the end. When negative self-talk arises, replace it with encouraging and supportive words. You are the only one who can do that because you're the only one who can control yourself, just like me. I talk to myself the way I talk to my friend. I'm not a perfect person, but you know, whenever I realize that I'm starting to really bring myself down, I just flip the switch. This is not helping. We got to solve to get this together. When I talk to myself. Now, you can also do this. Practicing self-compassion by saying affirmations every day or writing it down. I write down my affirmations here every day. It's just in this piece of paper. Same thing every day. My favorite stuff to say to myself every day. I write it down. Now, you could also practice self-compassion by reflecting on situations where you've been hard on yourself and consciously shift to more compassionate responses. Forgive yourself. We're not God. And once we forgive ourselves, from our mistakes, then you just, get our act together and move on and just continue to fight. Now, another way of showing up to yourself is committing to a personal growth, which means that you commit to personal development. You are a pro-growth person. This means you are actively seeking opportunities to grow and evolve, not staying the same. Whether that's through learning new skills and pursuing your passions, another way of committing to a personal growth is just simply overcoming your fears. That when you feel like you don't want to do it, just do it, even without thinking. And there you go. You're already there. You've already started. And you got to have a momentum to continue it. And then you just defeated your own fear. Now, you can also, another way of showing personal growth commitment is, setting your agenda every day at work. Like before you start out your day, you exactly know what you want. How you want to spend your time, so that at the end of the day you got your outputs, rather than you be all over the place and still nothing is happening at the end of the day. And when you see your results every day, that absolutely makes you feel happy. And you could also show commitment to personal growth by means of taking courses, reading, or seeking mentorship in areas of your interests. And another common thing of committing to a personal growth, like you can show up for yourself, by means of being really committed to personal growth by embracing challenges and discomfort as part of your journey to becoming the best version of yourself. Like if there are challenges in front of you, never be afraid to really ask help. Ask help as necessary to overcome those challenges. Now, another way of showing up to yourself is being honest with yourself. Showing up for yourself means being honest about yourself, in your own desires, feelings, and limitations. You know, not really. Sometimes we overthink things. We overestimate ourselves in a way that we think about our ego. You think that you can do this, but you haven't practiced yet, and you end up in trouble. So that happens to some people. It even happens to me before. That's I tried to get a certain project that was given to my manager, and I have no idea how to do it. I have no experience. I did my best, and it was still ended up flop. So instead of really, I must know to limit my limitations. And it's really important to learn from our mistakes, though. And we always remember that we all have ego. Sometimes we underestimate the workload before taking the project. We underestimate the risk. So before anything else, it's way better to research first and assess yourself. Self-awareness. Now, being honest with yourself also involves acknowledging uncomfortable truths instead of burying them under distractions or denial. Like when you feel like you're in love with your best friend, what are you gonna do? Find a better intervention, whether you risk your friendship away and then confess, or just speak your friendship, and then you have to really. Another way of showing up yourself is just when you make a decision. It's also important to be responsible for for the consequences of your decision. Now, lastly, showing up for yourself also means taking responsibilities of your choices. Now, this is important because most of the people this time, they're not quite accountable of their actions, of their decisions. Then you can see they blame others. Even to me, initially, when I got angry, when I got triggered, I think about other people first, and then as time goes by, as hour passes, it's when I think about what's really happening. I also thought about my contribution, about the outburst that I'm feeling when I get triggered. So I could say that when I being triggered by something, by what other people say, or by any situation, could also be my fault. So whatever I said, if I ever hurt people when I got triggered, and I'm also aware about that. So when I said something terrible, I'm ready. I'm ready to confront the person. I'm ready to take the consequences that sometimes I have to eat my pride in order to apologize or make it up to the person. Now, when you show up for yourself, you take responsibility for your life and choices rather than blaming external circumstances or waiting for others to save you. This empowers you to take control of your life and decisions. Look, this is really important. When you take responsibility of your choices, when you are accountable person, most of the time, look, you're gonna do what you said you're gonna do. That's it, this could be one of the basic foundations about for self commitment. Now, showing up for yourself is a multifaceted process that requires self awareness, compassion, setting boundaries, and commitment to personal growth. By actively engaging in these practices, you create a life that reflects your true desires and well being, empowering yourself to thrive even in challenging situations. The key is to start small, remain consistent, and remember that showing up for yourself is a lifelong journey, not a one time achievement. And this is another way of schooling life, improving yourself over time as long as you live. This is quite a way of saying that have a wonderful journey every day for the rest of your life. And I think I also deserve that, to look after myself as best as I can. And if you ever learn something from this episode today, you can follow me in Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even on Amazon Music. Reinforce Me Club. I do appreciate your time and have a lovely day ahead. Thank you very much.